But welcome, Lauren, to
Thank you.
this video. Thank you for saying yes to this.
Oh, thank you, Adi. It's so nice to be asked. Very, very lovely to be back.
Amazing. Yes, exactly. So we're really looking forward to hearing your story. So just to start off with, would it be okay if you just shared a little bit about you and a short introduction?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you. So, I'm Lauren Parmar. I am a transformative coach and a meditation teacher, and now also a yoga teacher, which is the latest string to my bow, which is very exciting. And I run a coaching studio and meditation studio for women called Mood London. And yeah, I help women to clarify their vision, break through any blocks that are holding them back so they can move forwards with confidence, with clarity and intention, and redesign their lives in a way that really works for them. So I work with a lot of women who are kind of in their 30s and 40s who've built amazing careers, and then they're kind of going through a transitionary period and wondering what's next. And I think really craving a deeper sense of alignment and
Mhm.
authenticity. So that is the work that we do together. And there's a, oh, sorry, my chair. There's a number of different, modalities and methods that I bring in, from the coaching, the meditation, the visualization, and soon yoga. So really a body, mind, spirit, holistic approach.
That is wonderful. Congratulations on the yoga teacher
Thank
certification. So to start off with, I'm just really curious about your story way before this,
you.
going back to really even coming to the decision that you'd like to train as a coach. I mean, what was that journey like?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a long and winding journey to get to that point, I think. So, to give you a bit of my background, so I started my career as an actor. So I trained as an actor. I kind of went into that, and that was like my lifelong passion from childhood. And I thought, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do with my life. And I always felt so, I was very tunnel vision on that goal. And, it was really, really hard. It was incredibly challenging. I loved it. I've always had such an interest and like curiosity about people. Why do people do what they do? Why do we behave the way we do? What holds people back? What drives people forwards? How do we relate to each other? So the whole kind of psychology behind that and getting to explore that through acting was really fun and enriching in so many ways, but it's hard, it's a hard profession. So when I was kind of just before the pandemic, actually, I decided to like close that chapter. It was a painful decision. It was the right decision ultimately, but I decided to leave that behind. So I went through a whole big career change in my early 30s where I sort of moved into production and advertising. And I thought, yeah, this is it now. This is going to be my career. And I did that for, well, I transitioned into that while I was acting, and then I was kind of doing that for about 6 years. But the whole time I was there, I just kept thinking, like, is this it? Like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And I was going through this phase where I had a great job. I worked at an amazing creative company with great people, but I just didn't feel like I was doing the work that I'm here to do. But I didn't know what the work I'm here to do was. I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing. I always sensed there was something around people. Anyway, long story short, I got really lost. I was trapped in what I call the void for a long period of time where I really didn't know what I should be doing. And around that time, I got really into meditation. I think as a way to like find something to give me a sense of grounding and calm my anxiety. And I started reading lots of books about meditation, really trying to understand the neuroscience of meditation and what it means to like rewire your brain and neuroplasticity. And I just got so fascinated. It kind of took me down this rabbit hole, which eventually sparked a kind of interest, a curiosity in coaching. Because I always thought there's something around people that I want to do, but I don't know what that is. I don't know how that exists as a job. And so, yeah, eventually, kind of Animas came on my radar. I started doing lots of
Mm.
research into coaching, research into coaches as well, started working with a coach. And yeah, I remember doing the like insert day or the test
The
the day, the test
introduction.
the day. Yeah, exactly. And I thought, wow, this is really interesting. And yeah, I just had this really strong, like, gut sense that it's what I should do. I didn't know whether I would be a coach, but I kind of thought there's something in this that I think will unlock something for me or give me new skills that will be useful in some way.
Mm.
And yeah, turned out to be a brilliant decision for me. And I think on the very first day of the training, I just knew I'd made a really, really good decision.
Amazing, amazing. Um, so I wanted to go back to the is this it question, because a
Mm,
lot of people who are probably contemplating are at that stage. Do you remember that time? Like, what did it look like when you were asking, is this it? Maybe the thoughts, the narrative around that. Be great to
yeah,
hear.
I remember it like vividly, viscerally. It was really hard because I just didn't know who I was. And what I know in hindsight is that I'd created a whole identity for myself around being an actor. And so when I wasn't an
Mm,
actor anymore, it wasn't just leaving, a chapter behind. I felt like I was leaving who I was behind. And so that was really challenging to kind of not know who I was. It's at this time where you're supposed to kind of have everything together, you're supposed to be knowing what you're doing by then. And, on paper, I kind of did have it all together, but it was just this
mm,
feeling inside, this like sense that I wasn't doing what I was here to do, that there was more I had to give, there was more I had to offer, to express, there was people I could help, people I could serve. And I was just really confused about how that could manifest and what that could kind of look like in the physical world. So
absolutely.
yeah, it's like feelings wise, a lot of doubt, a lot of fear, a lot of overthinking, a lot of anxiety, frustration, and just really, really, I think at the time I really felt like I wanted someone else to just tell me what to do and give me the answers. But whenever anyone gave me advice, I'd be like, well, no, I'm not doing that. That's wrong. But it's like, what I know now is that I needed to find the answers for myself, which is what coaching really unlocked for me.
So the coaching experience when you did go through the meditation, the research, and then hiring your own coach, that's when things started to really clarify the decision. Actually, it is coaching that I want to do. Is
Yeah,
that?
and then it all kind of like it was like I was like pulling at threads, following the little things, and one thing led to the next thing, led to the next thing. But it was really, I think it all clicked into place when I started the training with Animas, because for me, the training was a very profound experience for me because I didn't just feel as though I was learning to become a coach. I felt that
Mhm.
the experience enabled me to learn and start becoming who I am, which is obviously, a philosophy that kind of sits at the heart of coaching. But yeah, it had a massive um, transformative effect on my confidence, my sense of self, and helped me to start to visualize and carve out a new sense of self, a new identity that I wanted to step into.
Wow, becoming who you are as a training, it definitely resonates with that. Uh, and so before you did decide, okay, I'm gonna train with Animas or even with the coaching, do you remember did you have any doubts around becoming a coach or any fears and maybe how you navigated that? Or yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's a really good question. I think, yeah, for sure. It felt, especially when I had made the decision that I thought, oh, maybe I do want this to be a career. I had like a huge amount of fears and doubts. How could I make this work? Is this even possible? What will people think? What if I fail? What if I can't do it? Like all of that internal narrative that kind of goes on and on and on in your head. And that's been a real journey, I think. The journey is ongoing for sure. Um, but it was really through coaching, through working with coaches, through getting coached a lot through the Animas journey and my amazing cohort who gave me so much fantastic coaching throughout that experience, and the meditation that really helped me to, I think, override those
Mm.
fears. And something that I always say to my clients, my members now, is attach more desire to the vision than the effort or the pain it takes to work towards it. And that's what I really had to do. I had to, make my desire to make it successful and to get to where I want to go so strong and so vivid that I could use it to like override that negative voice whenever it would creep in. And that is a practice that I do still to this day, every day.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Oh my goodness, yeah, because that's quite new, attaching the desire
Yeah.
to the vision. I can imagine that's such a process because sometimes the vision is even unclear. So wow, that's incredible. But I'd love to talk about your training. How was the experience? You mentioned the community and the coaching around that. How was that for you?
I mean, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Yeah, everything about it was great and fascinating for me. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where to start. I found it so interesting. Like, it unlocked so many things in my brain because I was learning things that I didn't know about before. And I found it really robust, but also
Mm,
easy to understand and digest. It felt manageable, not overwhelming. I really loved the kind of practical elements of the training and how, you kind of get thrown in at the deep end from day one. After the
yeah.
first weekend, it's like, get out there and start coaching people. But honestly, it's the best way because nothing like a baptism by fire. And I think you've got to rip the band-aid off and just start stepping into the identity of the coach, of the practitioner from day one. And that really, really helped me to do that. I'm a chronic overthinker, or at least I used to be. I sort of have done a lot of work on that. But yeah, I think it's really easy to get into your head and overthink it and then not want to do it. And then the fear sits in. So I think, getting going with it from the start was really helpful for me. And yeah, I had a fantastic trainer. Nick was amazing. Love Nick. And yeah, great cohort. We're still in touch. And yeah, it was just the most enjoyable, like fascinating, transforming experience that I've had. And I learned so much, not just about coaching, but about myself and who
Yeah.
I am. And it changed me, I think.
Yeah. I was actually going to ask if you had a favorite module or a favorite exercise that really surprised you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now I need to
Mhm.
remember the names of the modules in the order they come in. I loved transforming, what is it called? Transformative presence?
Paradigm. Oh, yes. Module 3.
Yeah. Is that what's it called?
It is transformative presence. Yes.
Transformative presence. Yeah, I
Yes.
loved that one. I really, really enjoyed that. Um, yeah, like learning to sit with the silence and hold the space. And I found that really fascinating. Yeah, transforming paradigms also was amazing. I mean, I just loved it all. Module two, I remember, I also really enjoyed like those fundamentals in module two.
Yeah. The structure is quite structured. Module 2 and then module 3 is all about, it's almost like there's no structure. It's all about the
Yeah,
listening. Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
kick the chair legs away, and you're like, oh. But I think for me that was like freedom. Gave me a
Yeah.
sense of freedom in the coaching space, which I think has been really valuable and has really stuck with me actually, like that confidence to not feel the need to fill all the silences and just really be present with the coachee has been, yeah, really stayed with me.
Definitely.
Mm.
Um, with you said baptism by fire, go straight into practicing. Do you have top tips? How did you find your first couple of clients? What did you do? Yeah.
So that's a really good question. I tapped into networking groups that I was a part of. So I sort of thought, who do I want to coach potentially? And it's hard at the beginning. You don't always really know, but maybe you have a sense. And I had a sense that maybe it would be, women that I would want to work with, that I'd feel more comfortable coaching. And so I was in a few kind of networking, like women in business networking groups. And so I just kind of put out, a little message on there saying what I was doing, that I was offering it. I offered my sessions for free, which I found was very
Mm,
helpful because lots of people were interested. So yeah, I had a lot of positive responses from that, and then it kind of went from there. It's sort of like
mm,
it naturally snowballed, and that also it kind of shaped and formulated what my business went on to become. Like those early practice clients who I coached for free were very influential, you know, both in helping me to develop my skills and my confidence as a coach, but also helping me to understand the types of people that I like to help and support and how I can best support them. So yeah, it all kind of worked out in a really good way. But I would say to people, yeah, if you have a sense of like who you want to help, thinking about, you know, where are these people? Like, where are they hanging out? How can I reach them? I know that putting things out on social media can sometimes feel really scary and like pressurizing, especially in the early days. So, you know, that's great if you want to do that, but there are also other ways. And for me, that took a lot of the pressure off. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I don't need to put it on my Instagram account yet because I don't feel quite ready for that.
So you took the in-person, real life conversations more instead of going into social media straight away. Is that right for the
As in,
beginning?
like, I would rather than looking for practice clients via social media, like doing a big announcement, you know, this is what I'm
Oh, I
doing
see.
now to the world. I was going underground, you know, I was like,
Got it.
what are these networking groups that I'm in? It felt a bit more covert. Like I don't need to say it to every single person who knows me. I can just say it to this targeted group of people because I didn't quite feel ready to like share it with the world.
Completely understand.
Mm.
And so towards qualification, after that, what was that journey like post qualification?
Post qualification,
Yes.
post qualification. So, I mean, it's a journey for sure. It's definitely been a journey. It started very small. You know, just I had a couple of clients here and there. I remember my first paid client was actually supposed to be a practice client, and because of various travel and things going on, it got delayed. It got delayed, and then eventually I'd passed my qualification, and she said, I really want to pay you actually." And I'll never forget that. And I was so appreciative of that because I, at the time, probably would have just carried on coaching people for free. But that was really, you know, kind and generous of her. And she's an amazing client and still friend to this day, actually. So, so yeah, it started small. I was working full time. At some point along the journey, I quit my full time job and took another job where I was working 4 days a week. So it gave me an extra day to really work on my coaching business, to start building up my practice, to coach my clients, and really start thinking about how can I lay the foundations of making this a, you know, a full-time job, full-time income, and building out my business. So I did have quite a clear, it
Mm,
wasn't always super clear, but I did have a vision from the start of like what it could be. And so I just really followed that vision of who I wanted to help, how I thought I could help them, why it mattered to me. And it all just kind of organically blossomed and grew and developed on the
yeah.
way, you know. And something like an expression I love is like when you take a step towards the vision takes a step towards you. You can't always know how things are going to work out. You might have a fixed idea in your head, but sometimes, you know, the universe has other plans that are maybe better than what you were imagining. So it's been a process of learning to trust more than anything. Like
Mm,
trust in the process. You don't need to figure out all the steps in order to take the first step. You just need to figure out that first step. And just, yeah, really being open to opportunities, people, experiences, saying yes to the things that feel aligned, that spark interest, that spark joy, and not overthinking it.
wow, yes, not overthinking it. I mean, what's your advice about understanding what that feels like to be aligned for other people who maybe how does that feel? Yeah.
Such a good question. I think for me, it's just this, it's like a gut, visceral sense, you know? I think the body knows things that the mind tries to talk us out of. And there's an amazing tool that we use in meditation called interoception, where you can go into, it's really good if you have a big decision to make and you're not sure which way to go. You could kind of close your eyes, you know, drop into a meditative state and imagine one scenario, imagine that you've, said yes, or you've made this decision. And then you really visualize yourself like living out that decision. Like, how does it play out? Where might it take you? Where might you be? What might you be doing? And the crucial part is like really paying attention to not just how it feels like emotionally, but how it feels in your body. You know, does your
Mm,
body expand? Do you feel like this tingle of excitement, but also, maybe a sense of calm, like, oh yes, like relief, I'm doing the right thing? Or do you contract, and do you feel anxiety and, nervousness, and like, this doesn't feel right, this feels off? It's like this real gut sense. And then you can do, repeat the whole process again, imagining that you've kind of made the other choice, or like maybe you didn't make the decision, you stayed where you are. Then how does that feel? And you repeat the process. And yeah, I've always found that to be very powerful. Like, slow down, be still, you already have the answer inside you. And if in doubt, speak to a coach, because I'm sure a coaching session
mm.
will also help unlock it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really loving the theme and your focus on tapping onto the body intelligence. And actually, when you say visualizing, it's almost remembering what it feels like to actually walk that path. Because I can imagine there will still be a lot of people who don't have that anchored in what that feels like, and what an amazing tool to be able to help with decisions. Yeah,
Yeah,
moving
and
forward.
not just decisions. I think it's like a confidence thing. I think
Mm.
and visualization I use all the time. I think to mentally rehearse something, especially if it's something you've never done before, it can be so powerful, because it's so scary to do something we've never done before. Like, we haven't done it, we can have a load of anxiety, and that can change the energy that we bring into that situation, and we end up inadvertently creating, the outcome that we don't want from that situation, because we're nervous, we're not relaxed, we're not being ourselves. But when we mentally rehearse it, you know the brain can't always tell the difference between what is real and what we're imagining. So it's like really laying down those new neural pathways in the brain, like practicing, rehearsing it, so that it starts to feel like the new normal. It starts to feel like something you've done before. It starts to feel familiar. So when you go to walk that path in real life, it doesn't feel like you're doing it for the first time. And I've done this in the past with like interviews, things like that. I'll rehearse it, and sometimes, even when I'm rehearsing it in my mind, the conversation doesn't go the way that I want to go. So I'll do it again and again and again until I feel like I've had a good outcome, and I'm like, yeah, good way it could look. And
Amazing.
it's got me jobs. It's got me a lot of good opportunities have come from this technique. So I really
Yeah.
recommend it.
Multiple simulations as well that you do. Wow, incredible. Um, so apart from visualization, coaching seems to be a massive part of what's really contributed to your success. What other
Yeah.
tools maybe are, not always thought of the first time, post qualification? Is there anything else that you would like to highlight for others?
You mean for the coach, or to offer to your clients?
To as a coach, they're wanting to, what are my next steps, how do I start up my practice, yeah, what other tools helped you, or
Yeah,
practices?
it's a good question. What helped me to start with my practice? I think just really immersing yourself in the world as much as you can, like reading as much as you can, coaching as many people as you possibly can, just really stepping into that identity of the coach, of the practitioner, building up your confidence, building up your sense of identity in this kind of new role and this new space. Because I think there's so much, it's so natural to feel nervous or anxious at the beginning. It's so natural to feel, like a beginner, because you are a beginner. And I remember a coach said to me once, if you feel like an imposter, it's probably because you are an imposter. And that really stayed with me. At the time, I was like, oh, ouch. But like, I know what he meant now. He meant that you haven't done it before. So the only way that you're going to feel confident and comfortable in what you're doing is to do it, is to do the hard thing. So I think it's just repetition, repetition, repetition. And as I said before, like, don't overthink the process. I think often we look at where we are and where we want to be, and our minds can't compute the gap. And human beings inherently crave certainty, right? We want to know, like, we want the plan, we want to have all the steps figured out. And I'm not saying don't have a plan, but how useful it is to try and figure out all the steps. I don't know. I think there's a part of us has to kind of let that go, let go of that needing it to be a certain way. Don't worry
Mm.
about step five, step six. Focus on step one. Focus on
Mm.
what you can do today. Like, what can I do today in the season that I'm in? What do I have time for? What do I have energy for? What do I have capacity for? And on energy, I also think protecting your energy and like prioritizing your energy and looking after yourself is so crucial, especially when you're holding space for other people, because it's such a massive energy exchange. So I
Mm.
think you have to make sure you're really well resourced and figure out what that looks like for you. Like, how do you resource yourself? And that might be different for everyone, whether it's through breath work or meditation or time in nature or exercise or music, whatever it is, figure out what it is for you and make that a non negotiable.
Mm. What does that look like for you? I'd love to hear your yeah, practices.
Yeah, I mean, meditation, definitely. That is
Mm.
like my number one. And yoga.
Mm.
I've done both of which I've done today. Journaling. Those are kind of the main ones I do. Like, also time in nature, walking my dog. But the ones I'll come back to again and again is meditation and yoga. But also just breathing. Just remembering that we have this powerful tool that we can use at any moment, at any time of day. Like, the breath is a gift, and we are often just one deep breath away from a very different day. And it's easy to forget that. So I think reminding myself of that often, and again, seeing myself as someone who does prioritize these practices has been really powerful for me. I don't think I'd be where I am today if it wasn't for these practices.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm.
I'm also curious about, so this might be, it's not completely a curveball, but your background in acting,
Mm.
in the advertising. I mean, how has it tied into you as a coach now? Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I think so. And like, one of my first ever coaches helped me to identify the correlation between coaching and acting, which hadn't even occurred to me before. But he was like, well, you're obviously fascinated by people, you're really curious about people. So it makes a lot of sense that that's what you would go into. So yeah, it's weird. I think life has a funny way of, it doesn't always make sense at the time, but you look back and you notice that every decision, every setback, every failure, every rejection ultimately leads you to where you're supposed to be. And I found that really hard at the time when I felt like I was in this place where I felt really stuck. It's not a nice place to be, to feel stuck and to feel confused and directionless. So if anyone who's watching this is in that right now, I feel you. But what I know now in hindsight is that those challenges that I faced were actually the biggest opportunities of my life. And they led me to dig a little bit deeper, and question things a little bit more and not settle for what felt, not right for me. So I'm really grateful for those difficult times because it helped me to reset my path and recalibrate and figure out what I really care about. And the acting has come in very useful, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. Like, just the amount of space holding that I do. I
Mm.
run a lot of group coaching these days. I have a membership, so we do a lot of meditations, workshops, retreats in person and online. So having those acting skills in the bag has definitely come in handy.
Oh, amazing, amazing. You're really inspiring to hear your story. It seems the trust seems to be really big, letting go, looking at what you can do now first. and the body intelligence. That's what I'm really taking out of this conversation. So thank you for that. Um, so, is there anything else that you would like to say to anyone who is probably at the stage of maybe they're just before deciding, they're on the course, or maybe post? Anything else you haven't mentioned that you'd like to share?
Oh, anything else? Any other words of wisdom? I think just like like it is just, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but just trust yourself. Don't talk yourself out of the things that you want to do because life is short and, why not? Why not go for it? Why not do the thing that you're curious in, that you're interested in? I think often it's like we feel like we're in this like dress rehearsal and we're waiting for something, oh, now's not the right time. Oh, I'll do it when I've got more time, more money, more this, more that. And we're postponing the act of choosing. And I know, and I say that with compassion, because that's what I did for a very long time. I was scared to make a decision. So I would just make all these excuses that were ultimately keeping me stuck, but keeping me in what my subconscious mind was perceiving as safety because it was familiar. But I think, yeah, life is so short and it is a saying as old as time and a bit of a cliche, but like we really will regret the chances that we don't take more than the ones we do. And if you have that vision, if you have that dream, that interest, I would just say go for it. Go for it. Like, what have you got to lose? It might just be like the best decision that you ever made. It was for me, and I'm sure it has been for many other people as well. So, yeah, just trust, keep believing, keep working on the mindset. Like, mindset is key. Mindset is everything.
Yeah, I got goosebumps. Oh, thank you, Lauren.
Oh, you're so
Please
welcome.
tell everyone where they can find you, how they can connect with you. Yeah, we'd
Oh,
love to
yeah.
know.
Thank you. So you can find us online. Our website is moodldn.co. And then Instagram, I'm quite active on. So again, it's at moodldn.co. I'm on LinkedIn, Lauren.Palmer. I'm on Substack. I write a weekly newsletter called Current Mood, where I share kind of musings from my practice, tips about mindset, stories about my journey, the challenges I'm facing, and how I overcome them. So if that sounds interesting, you can subscribe for free. I think it's Lauren.Palmer again. I'm on TikTok now for my sins,
Amazing.
Lauren.Palmer. Yeah, so I think I'm kind of everywhere. But yeah, and people can also email me, lauren@moodldn.co. So I'm always happy to hear from people and yeah, do reach out if you want to know more about mood or anything.
Amazing. Thank you. We'll definitely put all of the links, and I definitely want to shout out your workshop as well that you did for Animas. It's called The Mood, the Mastery and the Mindset of Coaching. So please do. We'll link that there as well. But thank you so much,
Thank you
Lauren,
so much,
for
Amy. It's so nice to talk
today.
to you. I really appreciate it.